Coming to you from an undisclosed location, somewhere deep in the heart of the Santa Monica Mountains. I'm your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli. Welcome here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, members, for your continued support. Really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We do a show every day, so don't wait for YouTube to tell you there's a new show, because they will do that. But we do a new show here every day right on our YouTube channel. We want to thank YouTube for this incredible platform. Also, don't forget to sign up for Rumble, because God forbid something happens on YouTube, we will continue the shows right here on Rumble. But first, here's a word from our trusted sponsor. A 2025 survey found that over half of U.S. adults are concerned about how fast their skin is aging, and 40% fixate on random wrinkles or dark spots. If that sounds like you, you're not alone. More and more people are noticing visible changes in their skin far earlier than expected. Folks, this is why I use my secret anti-aging weapon, and I'm obsessed with the changes I've noticed in my skin. It provides my skin with the 5 must-have types of premium collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Since taking it, I've experienced smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer fine lines, and a more youthful glow. Plus, it mixes smoothly with my morning coffee or tea. Folks, I use it. I don't even mix it with the coffee. I just use it with water. Mix it up really well. I have one of those little stirring things, and voila, down my neck it goes, and I do it daily. Folks, be sure to grab a bag of ageless multi-collagen now while it's 51% off. Only www.healthwithla.com. Healthwithla.com. And help take years off the clock. Plus, by ordering now, you're also guaranteed to get a free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and of course, free shipping. Folks, once again, www.healthwithla.com. You know, I've been taking this for a while now. I've noticed the difference. I actually had someone write in and go, "LA, what are you taking? You look younger." So, look, I don't know whether it's related to that, but all I know is that I take the collagen as often as possible every day, as long as I remember. I keep it right on the counter, and I've noticed the difference. Check it out, folks, healthwithla.com. That's healthwithla.com.
Hello and welcome to this live edition of The Word at War. With the recent hearing by the House Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, chaired by Florida Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, which revealed more shocking testimony from whistleblowers who have experienced UAP activity and government cover-ups, and revealed incredible footage showing a missile being deflected by a UAP, to strange statements by Harvard professor Avi Loeb surrounding the approaching celestial object 31 Atlas, coupled with cryptic statements from UAP insiders like Dr. Stephen Greer, one has to ask the question, is disclosure imminent? And I couldn't think of anyone better, and I'm so glad that he was willing to come on short notice and discuss what we just recently saw, than my friend and return guest here, L.A. Marzulli. So, L.A., thank you so much for coming back. I can't think of any better resource for you, too, than his book, Rungs of Disclosure, because I tell you what, we're going to get into it again. The man's calling it out, ticking off the boxes one by one by one, and I think we're even, getting deep into the playbook here. So you can actually check out his book and check out all of his works over at lamarzulli.net. So, L.A., thanks, man. I really appreciate you doing this on short notice.
Oh, no worries, Kyle. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I did a show covering what Anna Paulina Luna was talking about. I mean, this was unbelievable. In our second film, which is a 10 DVD box set, shameless plug, my business partner Gil Zimmerman and I, 10 films in here. The third film, the third film, I sit down with Francisco Carrera and Preston Dennett. Preston's an author. He's got 10 books for his credit, all in the UFO phenomena, but from the other side of the aisle. He believes these are good extraterrestrials. Francisco, on the other hand, is not so sure. He's head of Exopolitics Portugal. And he actually was very involved in our two films on the Fatima apparitions. We both believe that this was a UFO event, not, Mary of the Bible, but I digress. So in that film, the third film, the experts weigh in. You can stream it, streaming.lamarzulli.net, or just go to the site, lamarzulli.com, and check it out if you're interested. But we show, this is old news. There's an intercontinental ballistic missile flying through the air very fast. And I'm going to use this as a prop. So there's a UFO that kind of appears like this, and the rocket's moving. So let's pretend the rocket's moving, because I can't do this or I'm out of screen, out of the shot. So why the rocket is moving, the UFO is going like this, and it's firing at the missile and brings it down.
Yeah, hitting it with a laser beam.
Exactly. And that's old news for us.
Yep.
We broke that story. It's in our third film. So it's, we knew about it. And Francisco and I are talking about it. So for ufologists, all this is kind of old news. On the other hand, for the general public, watching the video, they're all going, oh my gosh, what am I looking at here? Because, the UFO is traveling, and then a Hellfire missile, comes in and it's just shredded. And the UFO accelerates and keeps going. So it's really incredible what's going on.
Yeah, one of the things that was crazy in there is they talked about the guy that came forward with the missile thing that you were just referring to, because that happened like decades ago, I think. He actually came forward because one of the things that has come out of this task force, if you will, that I mentioned in the opener, is they've created this subcommittee, and I'm trying to find it here. I had it written down. You might know off the top of your head, LA, but what they've done is it's basically it's like a place for whistleblowers to go to and report their stuff.
Right.
And that guy came forward and actually wanted to, and reported it to this hearing, or this body where they can go and whistleblow. And the director that they put in charge of this organization basically just shot everybody down. He did everything he could to
Deep state.
block all of this. Yep. And I know one of the things that came out during the hearing was Anna Paulina Luna said she was going to send him a subpoena to come and testify. So that'll be kind of the next phase of this. But was there anything from that hearing that really stood out to you that was maybe new information, or something that kind of pushed the ball a little bit down the field?
What became a 22nd rung on the ladder of disclosure, and it's an interactive site. If you go to rungsofdisclosure.com, all the rungs are listed there. And then the new rungs, like number 22, I just did a video, which will be posted. And so we're always keeping track when we jump up. That video, which was released to the public, is incredible. And the fact that, the UFO is moving and the rocket comes in and just glances and is just completely torn apart. That's the American people need to see that, because most of them don't.
I have that queued up, and it's only about 2 minutes long here, and this is actually a cut straight from the hearing. So I'm going to play it really quick.
Go ahead.
So let me go ahead and share my screen. That way, everybody who's listening to this, if you have not seen this, because I couldn't agree more with LA that everybody needs to see this. So let me just pull this up from the hearing, and we'll go ahead and we'll fire it up here.
Yeah, Burleson was the one that led it. Here we go.
Yeah, this is incredible.
So you can see this in the crosshairs. It's being tracked, and that is a UFO.
Mm-hmm.
And the top left corner is where you'll see it come in.
Yep, and it actually curves, so it's almost
right
like a heat
there.
seeker. Yep.
Boom.
And we can actually see here. I'm going to pause it just really quick. You can see these. This is a great place to pause it. Actually, that was perfect. But what you can see there is you can see 3 pieces break off, and it continues on with the UAP. So it's really crazy footage, and you can go find that out there. And I'm sure the vast majority of people have already seen that anyway. But we wanted to throw that up there for those that had not. So yeah, that's pretty insane. So what do you ultimately make of that, LA? Is there anything that that you saw in there that maybe was a little different than what you talked about in the first place?
Not really. I mean, it's different in the sense that, classified information obviously finally comes forward.
Yeah, right.
American people get to see it. It does 2 things. It shows the veracity of the UFO phenomena. It also shows that we are sitting ducks, because when you have a Hellfire missile, whatever the thing's called, and the thing just breaks apart and UFO keeps going, their technology, it's not the Chi-Coms, it's not the Russians, it's not anything that we have on this earth. They manipulate space, time, matter, and energy. These are interdimensional entities with very, very sophisticated equipment, very sophisticated weaponry, very sophisticated machines that fly around. And so I believe it's interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. I believe this is the work of the fallen angels. And I get people go, why do fallen angels need UFOs? Well, I'm not going to get into that unless you really want to, but there's technology all throughout the biblical narrative. I mean, Ezekiel's wheel, what the heck is that? Right? I mean, there's technology. The flaming sword that turns every which way in the garden. What's that? What is the slaughter weapons that the two angels go into Jerusalem with in the book of Ezekiel? So we've got this very truncated view of the supernatural. And it's unfortunate, we think that just angels pop in and pop out. Well, they do. When Peter's jailbreak happens, the angel comes through the wall and the chains are released. The jail cell opens. Mm-hmm. The guards are switched off. So the good guys and the bad guys can manipulate space, time, matter, and energy in ways that completely defy our physics. There's no doubt about that. And we see it in the biblical narrative. So what's great about this is two things. It shows that arrow is lying through its teeth. Absolutely. And I said this right from the get-go. I said, oh, I see. Here we go. The pushback. Who's this guy? Oh, we have no evidence of any credible sightings. Are you kidding me? And the reason why he can say this is because he's never seen it. So he can say that. He's not lying. As far as he knows, he's never seen it. He's never seen any evidence. So it's selective reasoning or selective, what's the word I'm looking for? They're just cherry picking.
Yeah, they're picking out what they want to have, actually.
So it's great on one hand that Anna Paulina Luna is going to petition this guy, get him into Congress, and hold his feet to the fire. That'd be very, very interesting. Mm-hmm. Look, the American people and the people of the world have a right to know what is going on. And if I can digress just for a moment, we have no idea what happened in Butler, PA. We have no idea what happened there. It's over a year. No idea. None. Zippo. Everything is sterile, cleaned, ba-beep, ba-bop, ba-beep. We know nothing. We know nothing about the grassy knoll, JFK, the second shooter. Oh, gee, all the files, there's nothing there. Well, if you knew they were coming for them, what would you do? You'd go down to the incinerator and dump them all in, and we're done, right? Nothing to see here. Thank you very much, which is the way the game is played. Especially if it's been, 60 years, more than 60 years now?
Yeah.
And it's coming up again, and here we are. So it's 62 years. It's hard to believe. So it's wow. So it's the same here. You get a guy who's running arrow, and he doesn't know anything, and nothing to see. Keep moving, and just pats you on the head. Meanwhile, Charlie Kirk is gunned down, and we're not sure what we're looking at yet. It's the same thing. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all, I could go down a rabbit trail with 9/11. Oh, you got your conspiracy hat on, blah, blah, blah. Look, just before you start saying that, just Google Building 7 and watch that thing come down at free fall speed. And you tell me why 1,500 engineers and architects stated on the record, signed a petition asking Congress to delve into it, because it makes no sense. And it doesn't. Has Congress delved into it? Abso-stinking-lutely not. And will they ever delve into it? Abso-stinking-lutely no. And this is where we are. Yeah. And now it's all coming out with the Charlie Kirk assassination, that the whole thing stinks. It stinks like some sort of a psyop, some sort of a international hit. There's a private jet that goes missing. The whole trans deal, engraving on the bullets. I mean, who is this guy?
Yeah, that's convenient, wasn't it?
So,
yeah, I found that. I've been trying to really be patient and really watch, be discerning and watch what comes out and just be a watchman, right? But when I heard that, I was like, that instantly rang red flags to me, because I'm like, well, that's really convenient.
Isn't it convenient?
The other thing too that I want to make sure stays on the radar, and I'm really watching because we need to get to the bottom of it, is the book that came out on Amazon.
What's that?
The day before.
Whoops.
And that was very, very curious. This basically detailing everything that happened the day after. So the whole thing stinks, man. But this particular,
stinks to high heaven.
Yeah, this guy that was in charge of Arrow, which for anybody, thank you for reminding me what the name was too. I could not remember and I couldn't find my notes from the other day, which shame on me for that. But Arrow is AARO, which if you guys want to look it up, stands for All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office. So basically this was set up by this task force. This is what I was saying a second ago, by this task force to allow whistleblowers an avenue to go to and be protected when they would actually bring things forward. And all Arrow has done is drive everybody right back underground, because its first director, who is now going to get subpoenaed, his name is Sean Kirkpatrick. He is no longer there. He's been removed. But at this point, you have to wonder if maybe the damage has been done, because all these folks that are, wanting to come forward now are like, well, a lot of good that did us. Here, we risked our necks and stuck them out, and you guys just lopped them off and treated us like we've always been treated, which is a bunch of nuts. The other thing that was talked about in the hearing the other day, and the one gentleman all the way on the end was very interesting, but he kept saying, they kept using the term skiff. I can't tell you about this. I have to go into a skiff. And for those of you that were hearing that and didn't understand what that was, that is SCIF, and that stands for Sensitive Compartmented Information Facility, i.e., we need to go somewhere extremely protected before I can even tell you. But the problem is, he kept saying, not only do we need to go to this skiff, this secure facility, but I don't even know if I can even tell you there, because I don't know if you're even allowed to hear it, and I'm allowed to share it without going to jail.
I saw that clip. Yeah, it's on. And this is where we are, and I've stated this publicly on my show, and I'll state it again here. If they really wanted to get to the bottom of this, and let me just go down the rabbit trail, then I'll come up. Okay. Oh,
yeah, that's fine.
Let me just write it down so I can find my way back from the rabbit. Okay. And the first thing we have to look at is Washington, D.C. Rampant crime, no rule of law, streets aren't safe to walk on. The chief of police, when asked, well, what's the chain of command? She goes, well, what's that? What is the chain of command? She has no idea. And this is the chief of police who doesn't know what chain of command is. This is like,
that's a little scary.
With all due respect, this is Elmer Fudd and all his relatives are in charge of the Washington D.C. police force. It's like, I mean, can you really get people who are absolutely ill-equipped to do the job? I mean, it's just can you get any worser? I love using that word. Worser. It should be a word. So the bottom line is this: Trump took action. He brought him a National Guard. What happened? Boom, crime drops because he exercised muscle. All right, that's the analogy here. So all of you guys out there that are watching this and listening from the alphabet agencies, if you're the good guys, the white hats, bring this up to the higher command. If you want to get to the bottom of it, you pick 500 of the best of the best of the best, SEALs, Marines, whatever, and you split them into 250 on this side, 250 on this side. You embed professional photographers, cameramen, politicians from both sides of the aisle, and you storm the gates of the Bastille. You go to Area 51 and you go to Wright Pat. To the best of my knowledge, no living president in the last who knows how many years since Roswell, before Roswell, has ever visited Wright-Patterson Field. Maybe it was like a show and tell, go to the parade field and, that's good. No, we have no idea what's going on there. No idea what's going on in Area 51. That's how you do it. If you really want to get to the bottom of it, you suspend the dog and pony show, which is in Congress, which will never get anywhere because they go to a skiff and we'll never find out what's in the skiff. So it's just the same old,
I know,
it's just a hamster on a wheel. If you really want to get to the bottom of it, and Trump's the guy to make it happen, Trump just goes the executive order. You get 250, the best of the best. They go in the Right Pat with the cameras, with the what's over here, what's here, what's down under here. We want to know because it's all funded by American taxpayer dollars, right? Oh, not so fast, citizen. When you try to get into Area 51, lethal force is okay. I've been there. I've seen the signs myself. Took a photograph of them, for crying out loud. So we know nothing. No sitting president since Area 51 that I'm aware of, and there may be somebody who snuck in, has ever been to Area 51.
Yeah, right.
Who controls it? Who controls it? What's there? Is that where everything is back engineered at S4, like Bob Lazar stated decades ago in the 90s, for crying
Yep.
out loud? In my opinion, it is. So if you want to get to the bottom of it, suspend the dog and pony show, get 500 people, 250 to one site, 250 to the others, cameramen, congressmen, you go in there and force with elected officials, and you take no prisoners. No. You're not an elected official. You're not going to tell me what I can see or what I can't see. Because Anna Paulina Luna was talking about that. They're stopped. Oh, no, you can't come in here. You don't have a need to know. Well, who are you? Well, I'm so and so and so, but you're not an elected official, are you? No, but that's the whole point. There is a deep state. There is a deep state, and they control the narrative. And that should terrify every American citizen. And you know what, folks? You speak out a little bit too much, bam, you get slammed.
Yep.
And I don't think I get to fill in the blanks there, because it just...
Yeah. Yep. No, it rhymes with you get made unalive. The other thing too is, like one of the things that they clearly have done, and this just showed up more even in the hearing the other day, and they really did, the task force themselves really did seem frustrated because they want to make a breakthrough too, and it's really surprising. I kind of look at it as positive, but I'm also very leery because I think there's a little bit of gamesmanship being played too. I think that's just only smart to not fully invest your trust 100% there. But one of the other things too is they deliberately hand all this stuff out to, the private entities to help reverse engineer all this stuff. Like Lockheed Martin's been discussed for years. I'm like, that's like the worst kept secret ever. Boeing, Lockheed Martin. So if even if you didn't want to load up and go to one of these secure facilities, that's government controlled, load up and go to one of these private facilities that has government issued stuff in it. We have a right to do that. I would think it's our stuff, and do that. It's not probably much of a secret where Lockheed's doing a lot of this stuff. We know where the Skunk Works building is. We've known where it is forever. Boeing's got their secret facilities out there. I'm sure we know where it is. And so, I wouldn't think it would be that hard. I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, if they want to get to the bottom of it, Philip Corso in his book, A Day After Roswell, Corso talks about it. It was really a deathbed confession. And, he was poo-pooed by some people in the UFO community. I read the book probably in one or two sittings, probably 2 or 3 sittings, and loved it. Thought that, wow, okay, God's a whistleblower. And, he died about a year later or thereabouts. So it was like a deathbed confession. Just like Walter G. Haught, he's in our film on Roswell. It's a deathbed confession. You can read that online, by the way, where he stated on the record, it was a deathbed, it was an affidavit, a legal document to be opened after he died. So he passes away. The document is open. You can read it online yourself. And, they passed around the wreckage in a private meeting. Jim Ramey, I can't believe I can't think of his name. Oh my gosh. It's like I'm looking at both father and son. Yeah, Jesse Marcel Sr., Jesse Marcel Jr. I mean, they're all looking at this, right? Ramey was there, probably, and who knows who, but they're all passing around bits of the records. They never see anything like it. And then Walter Giotto is escorted into the hangar 84. In our film, we went to hangar 84. We got inside hangar 84. Are you kidding me? And that's where the UFO was that Walter Giotto saw. The bodies were under a tarp. He saw all this. I mean, how many people have to come forward before people start, oh, that's conspiracy theory. Excuse me. It's not.
It's crazy. And I think for the first time, because it's funny, because you and I are both old enough to remember this, but I remember back in even the 90s, they would pretty much tell us we were just crazy nut jobs for even trying to say that Area 51 even existed. And then as technology progressed and like they couldn't even deny it anymore, then they just come out and they're like, yeah, we've had it for decades. So what? Because nobody does anything.
And nobody does anything. Because we've been dumbed down to the point where, critical thinking is out the window. People don't think anymore. Amen. The media is a complete joke. We just look at the coverage with the Charlie Kirk thing. Look at how despicable. Look at the vituperative remarks. I love that word. Look at the vituperative remarks coming out of people that are celebrating the death of another human being. Cut short at 31 years old. What if he was your son? What if he was your son-in-law? What if he was your husband? I mean, seriously? And the vituperative remarks are just beyond the pale. I mean, they're just so sick, I can't even believe it. They're like right out of the pit of hell, And
Yeah.
I
Amen.
don't know, Kyle, we are in uncharted waters. There's no doubt about it. I don't think this
Yeah,
thing is
man.
over by
For
a
sure.
long
For sure.
shot. And especially the vitriol coming from the left is actually inciting it to the point where who knows? We've got a conference coming up. There is live streaming. It's prophecywatchers.com. I will be speaking. It's really the only conference this year I'll be speaking at. I did speak to the Prophecy Watchers conference in February down in Orlando, or February, March, whatever. But we turned down 16 conferences this year. And I think the Lord is doing it in, it maybe to protect. I don't know. I mean, I'm not Charlie Kirk. I don't have that type of a following, but I do have a following.
Yeah.
And there are haters out there. There's no doubt. So security is going to be very tight at the Norman, Oklahoma conference. But you can stream it. Just go to Prophecy Watchers, sign up for the live streaming, and watch all these guys, myself included.
Yeah.
Present.
Yeah, you've had some scary stuff. I mean, even in Rungs, which you got a copy of the book behind you. Even in Rungs, you talk about stuff in there because it's like a really good greatest hits, if you would, of really gathering things together over time and really compile them together for people to see. But you share some stories in there. I remember about being at a conference and having somebody come up to you and make really cryptic remarks, which was terrifying, And it's just there is a deep state. There, above all, though, the thing that I keep coming back to with all of this, everything you do, everything I do, and all the people that operate in this space, man, we are witnessing spiritual warfare on a level that is, I don't want to even think about the last time we saw this. Probably exactly what Jesus said, which was before the flood. Maybe somewhere along the way, but I got to tell you, man, it just seems like, much to your point a second ago, we are experiencing things that are and it's ramping up so quickly, and I guess that's one of my questions for you too. And I was going to kind of say this, but to near the end, but I'm just going to ask now. We can always circle back to other things, but where do you think we go next? Like, what do you feel like is the next thing on the horizon, if you even had to guess?
Well, I mean, they're not gonna stop trying to kill Trump. There's no doubt that.
Yeah.
There was Anna Paulina Luna did a video or a text, whatever, basically showing Trump and most of his cabinet is out at a restaurant in Washington, D.C. to get something to eat, and they're busted. I mean, income's probably code pink. Trump is the Hitler of our age. It's like Palestine must be free, the whole deal. And how did they get in? And how did they get that close? I mean, they're within 30 feet of him. Where's the Secret Service? I mean, it's so lax, I can't even believe it. They never should have gotten even in the building, and they're there. How is that even possible? How is that even possible? You kill Trump, God forbid, and you throw the nation into complete disarray. You really do. And J.D. Vance would step up. There's no doubt. And he would carry on. So they better get him too. And this is where we are. I mean, the vitriol, there are people openly calling and comparing Trump with Hitler, openly saying that he's got to go. Openly saying it. This is unprecedented. I think we're on the verge of something. I don't know what that something is. I don't have a warm, fuzzy feeling about it. I'm not sure where all this is headed. I know that Israel attacked 500 Hamas strongpoints in Gaza in the last 48 hours. That hasn't stopped. The threats against Israel. And isn't it amazing how that prophecy? See, prophecy is not taught in the churches, right? So the church is
no.
So when you say Jerusalem will be a cup of trembling to the entire world, what's the capital of Israel? It's Jerusalem. So what are you saying, written thousands of years ago? Jerusalem will be a cup of trembling. It's exactly where we are. Exactly where we are. Jerusalem is a cup of trembling to the whole world. And, you mix that in with Russia and Ukraine and all the crap going on and throughout the Middle East, throughout, the Houthis firing missiles. The Iranians are laying low. They're licking their wounds. They just got their butts kicked. But
Yeah.
are there conversations between Iran and Turkey? Because the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Old Middle Eastern saying. So Turkey has just suspended all Israeli air flights over its territory. Number one, they've cut off relationships. Number two, so you got Turkey and Iran, and remember, the Arab states, many of the Arab states, want to make peace with Israel on some level. They do. They realize they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Why not, hook up to the Israeli, prosper train? Because that's what it is. It's a train of prosperity. What's wrong with you people? And the sheikhs living in the so-called West Bank, Judea and Samaria, they know this. They've had it. Daniel Wright sent me the article. They've had it up to here with, Hezbollah and Hamas and the Palestinian, the PLO. Well, they just, let's join this because they see Israel prospering, and all they get is crap. All they get is death, and more death, and nothing ever changes.
Yeah.
So why do you hate these people so much? But Iran, that's not going to change, and Turkey, that ain't going to change. And Ezekiel 38 war prophecy again, not taught in the churches, so the people have no idea for the most part of what I'm even talking about. Ezekiel 38, 39, read it. There's a coalition of nations that come together. The three leading nations are Turkey, Gog, and Iran. So Turkey, we all know where they stand. Gog is Russia. And Iran is Persia. Nothing has changed there. So what's interesting is we know that Magog has a hook in the jaw and is drawn in. Doesn't really want to get involved. That hook, I'm drawing you in, doesn't really want to do it, but the Lord draws him in. There's not an Arab in that conflict, not one. The late Chuck Missler used to say, there's not an Arab in the bunch. There's not. And that coalition of nations, which go up against the land of unwalled villages. I've been to Israel. Israel is a land of unwalled villages. Yes, there's a wall that keeps the terrorists out in Jerusalem. I understand that. But I've been all through the country, and it's a land of unwalled villages, which 2,500 years ago or whatever, when that was written, the first thing you would do is build a city with the thickest, highest walls you could possibly build. So it's a land of unwalled villages. Check. And we see the Ezekiel 38 coalition being formed right in front of our eyes. It's all there. So nothing would surprise me. Gold has gone through the roof. It's hovering near $3,700 an ounce. Right now it's at $36.95. Some people are saying it's going to go to $5,000, which it could. I mean, it's already hovering at the 37 mark. Go back 2 weeks ago and it crossed the 36 mark, $3,600 an ounce. So we see the instability of the financial market. We see the world in turmoil. We see places like London, over 100,000 people demanding to get their nation back because it's been sold down the river by the politicians. And guess what? They won't. It's over. France has 200 mosques in the country. You go back 20, 25 years, they had one mosque. Now they have 200. That's the end game. And that's what's happening here. In Dearborn, Michigan, you don't go walking down the street. Sorry. It's under Sharia law. And that's what they're trying to do in Texas and in other places. And the American people need to wake up. And of course, I'm immediately being labeled as an Islamophobe for saying this. Well, tell me about France. Tell me about Dearborn, Michigan. Let's just talk facts. Is Sharia being implemented in Dearborn, Michigan? And if the answer is yes, then we have a real problem here because the Constitution is now subservient to Sharia law. And I find that, I'm sticking my neck out by saying this, literally. But, right now we're free on some level. Right now we sort of have free speech, but not really. We don't have free speech.
Yeah, we're censored. There might be some things that we talk about and have already said today that could get shut down, which I don't care. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to speak truth and let God sort out the rest. But you're right, brother. I mean, one of the things too, and this is just me. Obviously, you and I are just kind of going back and forth now and sharing thoughts because we're all, none of us have a crystal ball. We can only put together and use common sense, like you said earlier. one of the first things that I saw, and I think this all ties together, and I know it seems like, with disclosure, I think the enemy is ramping things up there. I think that's just one piece of it, right? The disclosure thing is just one piece of the larger picture is what we're really, I think, highlighting. And I think that they're having to ramp things up because one of the first things that I noticed when Trump took office, this is when I knew, I'm like, the enemy is not just going to sit around idly and let this happen. I forget how many days he was in office, but it couldn't have been maybe a week or two. And he did a teleconference into the summit over in Switzerland. They were having maybe it was a World Economic Forum or a G2 or something like that. I forget what it was. But he conferenced in there. And for the 20 minutes that he spoke, all he spoke, he didn't come right out and say it, but everything that he said was basically, I know what you're doing and I know what you've done, and I'm dismantling all of it. And I've already started the process of doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it. And they clap and they smile, and they're playing the game. But what I heard there was the enemy that's been working for decades to set all of these things up just heard that this man is going to dismantle things that we have done and has already begun to do it. And there is no way that the enemy is going to sit idly by and just cross their arms and pout and watch it happen. I don't know what your take was, but and the disclosure thing is all just part of that ramping up of the retaliation.
Yeah, look, if we are in the last days, and I believe that we are in the last days, then
I agree.
Darkness is just going to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And at some point, the church is taken out. I believe the church is taken out before the wrath, before the tribulation, the 7 years, the time of Jacob's trouble, which deals with Israel. So we're on the verge of something. And with the advent of AI, which now is everywhere, we don't know what we're looking at anymore. The average man on the street no longer can discern what's real and what is fabricated. And I find that incredibly alarming. You don't know. I mean, someone sent me a couple of clips, a day or two ago. And my immediate response was, well, interesting, but I don't know whether that's real or not. I don't know. You go back to the Kennedy assassination, all right? So, 62 years ago, roughly, right? That's what it is. So we were fed a bunch of bull ticky with Lee Harvey Oswald. And isn't it convenient that he shot 48 hours later or whatever, even less than that, right? And killed. Kennedy's brain goes missing. And the Twin Towers collapse at free fall speed. And when we watch them collapse, we see the pieces of the building turning into dust. Look up Dr. Judy Wood, Dustification, 9/11. And then, of course, you get to Building 7, and you realize that, wait a minute, Building 7 is not hit by a plane, and we watch it do this. Collapse on the roof. Let's say here's the roof, right? It collapses and then goes like this. Free fall speed. It's impossible. It's a physical impossibility. 1,500 architects and engineers. This is not conspiracy theory. So, don't take my word for it. Do your homework. And if you're trying to censor this, shame on you, because 1,500 architects and engineers signed a petition to go to Congress to open up an investigation on 9/11 because it makes no sense. Building 7 should not have collapsed at free fall speed. It's controlled demolition. You see the roof buckle like that. It buckles, kaboom, and then it just collapses into its own footprint. It's an impossibility, unless there were charges that were set. So we live in this world where it's like, what's Taylor Swift going to do? Let me get my little pendulum.
It's like a giant magic show. Yeah, exactly right.
What's Taylor Swift going to do?
Exactly right.
What's the Duchess of Wales. What's happening? Where's the king? Is he okay? Is he going to make it? Oh, the prince is coming back, and then there's Meghan Markle. What's she going to do this week? It's bread and circus all day long. And this is what we're fed.
Yeah, right.
We're fed bread and circus. We're told, look over here, distract, distract, distract. Meanwhile, the world's going to hell in a handbasket. We're being taxed to death. I was talking about this on a podcast, I don't know, a while back, my show. And I said, we never own anything. We never own anything. You work all your life, you pay your mortgage out. Oh, not so fast.
That's right.
You got your little property taxes, baby. You
That's
never
right.
own anything. That is so un-American.
That's right.
That is absolutely
That's right. I
so
agree with you.
un-American. It's absurd.
Amen.
And what they should do is when a person pays off his mortgage, that's it. No more property taxes for you.
That's
You're
right.
done.
agree.
Congratulations. You got your mortgage. The property is yours. And when you give it to your heirs, no. We're not going to property tax them either. I mean, we are just taxed to death. And the American people just look out here in California, they voted for a gas tax. I mean, how do you
Because
even?
that'll fix all the problems. They need more money.
Well, they can't. They're billions of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't know how to run a lemonade stand, and he doesn't.
No, he's horrid. He's a demon. He is a little demon with fancy shoes. That guy is as dark gets. And more than likely, here in 4 years, or I guess 3 years now, he will probably be the guy. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
First of all, I do not support that Governor Newsom is a demon. I want to make that perfectly. No, I won't go there because that's defaming him, and I won't do that. I will say this about Governor Newsom. I think it's a horrible governor, a dreadful governor, a governor that doesn't know how to run a lemonade stand. And I think California is absolutely proof on that. Gas tax keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and it's all you people know how to do is tax everybody to death. But and then you complain about the cities and we can't have Trump here and Los Angeles. Excuse me. What about illegal aliens? Don't you get? And what about if we just, and I've said this numerous times. So let's do this, okay? So we know under the Biden administration, millions of people came across the southern border, right? So we want to do a role reversal. We really do. We understand that this is really cool. So we're going to get 4 busloads of people, volunteers. We're going to go across the Mexican border and then go, hola, we are here to stay. We want free stuff. Can we get free health care? Can we sit in a hotel? can we have an allowance so we can, buy some tacos? Taco Tuesday? Thank you, Joe Biden. Really? Seriously?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Would any other country on the planet put up with that for a second? You'd be thrown in the hoosegow. That would be it. You would be deported so fast. If you had a toupee, and I probably need one, it would be blowing off. That's how quick.
Well, I believe they were having issues on their southern border with the Colombians, and that's exactly what they did to the Colombians.
Same deal, right? But it's okay for them to do it, and somehow they're not racist. But if we say something, you're a racist. No, I'm not a racist, because no other country, if you want to destroy a country, you take the ethos away from it. You take the commonality away from it. You tear down the statues and replace them with other things. You make singing the national anthem criminal, or if you cross your heart and stand up and sing it, then you're instead you want to kneel when that national anthem comes down. Kneel on, down the one knee because you don't support this country. Then get the heck out of here and go someplace else and play your goofy football game or soccer game or any other game. You've risen because we have a country that works for the most part. Yes, there's been bad things that have happened to it. I understand that. And we've tried to rectify it. Have we done the best we could? No, we can't. No, we didn't. You look at the Martin Luther King era. That changed everything. That stopped Jim Crow. And we needed a Martin Luther King. Too bad he was shot. Another government inside job? I don't know. That stinks to high heaven, too.
I think so.
It's just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Kennedy,
both Kennedys. On and on it goes.
Exactly.
And they tried killing Reagan. Don't forget, the lone gunman strikes again, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. The other thing too is I go even one step deeper than some of the things you said, and I'm like, I think the number one attack, and it's been decades in the making, has been at the pulpit. Weaken the pulpit.
Oh, absolutely.
You weaken the pulpit, and you've got it. It's just a matter of time before you can push over all the other dominoes. And look where we are. All these things, again, I keep coming back to the same thing, and everybody needs to really keep the focus on this. Please, please, please keep the focus on this if you're listening. Everything comes back to the spiritual warfare aspect. All of these things are all spiritual warfare. The enemy is attacking us from every angle that you can imagine. And this enemy is literally thousands of years experienced and is in infinitely wisdom.
Very smart guy.
Infinitely smarter than we are. And I hate to give him the credit, but we need to know who our enemy is. And I look at that, and I look at what happened the other day, and I look at Charlie, and I think to myself, is the church really truly prepared to pay that price? And the answer is such a resounding no. And we are so far away from being ready. We don't even know who the enemy really is. We have no idea.
Yeah, let me weigh in on
We have
this.
no
I'm not
idea.
going to mention any church names, okay? But if there's a church a friend of mine goes to, and it's local. That's all I'll say, okay? And not a peep about Charlie Kirk. Not a peep. Not even a moment of silence. Anything about prophecy, never teaches prophecy. So if you want to keep the people ignorant, you keep them away from the prophetic word of God, which, by the way, is about a third,
That's right.
almost 30% of what's in our Bible. Never talk about prophecy. Keep them away from it. Never talk about the Genesis 3:15 narrative, the commingling of the seed. Never talk. So the people are 110% ignorant about anything. But pump them up with the false signs and lying wonders. Have some gold dust come down, or maybe not even any of that. Just do the same thing over and over and over again. We're going to have a Bible study here. I remember going to one church locally, and this is the assistant pastor, that's all I'll say, stands up and goes, well, we're going to sing some songs right now because they're trying to be seeker friendly. Instead of saying, we're going to worship the living God, the God that created all life, the God that spoke everything into existence. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. All things were made by him, but without him was not made anything that was made. He was the life. The life was the light of men. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not comprehend it. That's who we're going to worship right now. We're going to sing some songs, but we're going to sing the songs to the Creator, who created you, who spoke your life into existence. From the moment the sperm touched the egg, you had a soul. That's when your soul entered your body, and only God can do it. I'm preaching to the choir here, but I'm on fire, but rightfully so.
Do it, man.
Because
Fire.
It's not taught. We're going to sing some songs. Are you out of your flipping mind? And there was a witch.
Yep.
There was a witch sitting in my pew, my seat, right? Three seats over. How do I know? Duh. She was working something. She had her hands way down like this, no Bible. She had a veil on, and she was working something. She was casting a spell.
She was perfectly comfortable to be there is the first thing pops in my mind. She should have been so uncomfortable to even walk through the doors of that building that she wouldn't dare set foot within the parking lot.
I was at a conference years ago with Russ Dizdar, and by this time, I was fully awake and on guard, armor of God on, and there was a woman in the audience who was a witch, who was working something against me. So I didn't know this, so I got up and I started to talk, and instantly I got hit. And it happened at other conferences. There were 3 witches who walked in, who were sitting there. All of a sudden I got a splitting headache, and the Lord told me, you need to take authority over this and stop and pray, and I didn't, because I didn't know what to do. So I learned from that. So I just stopped what I was doing, and I started pacing in front of the congregation, about 200 or 300 people. And I go, someone is here that is working something. I forbid you to do it by the blood of a lamb in the name of Jesus. You will stop, and you will stop now. Anything that you utter or say, any foul words, any unclean spirit must leave this place. She gets up, she screams, she covers her face and goes running out of the room.
Wow.
Not because of me and my authority, but because of him and his authority. And that's what he gives us.
That's been bestowed upon you.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. That's one of the other things too. Doing this show, doing this show the last 2 years has been incredible, just to talk to everybody and learn so much and grow. That's another thing that the church is not teaching us, is they do not teach us who we really are in the standing of the kingdom.
Russ used to harp on that. In the first 6 months, when a Christian becomes across the line, know your authority in Christ. Know how to put on the armor of God. Read Ephesians 6. Put it down in your spirit man and spirit woman. Walk in the authority that we've been given. Behold, I give you authority over snakes and scorpions and all power over the enemy, and nothing shall harm you. Is that just, a byword? Well, I'll just turn the page and don't worry about it. Or is that our marching orders? I say that every freaking night, at 2 a.m, or whenever. Lately he's been waking me up at midnight, every night now. It's hysterical. He changes the times. Got a sense of humor. So for the last week, it's been pretty much midnight, 1 minute after 12. It's like, And of course, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get up. Yeah, there you go. I don't want to get up and start, reciting all the scriptures he's given me. But, he gave me Isaiah 40, 10 through 13. And it was given to me by my editor and good friend, Sonda Allison. And Sonda sent it to me, and I memorized it. Lord, had me do it. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not anxiously look about you, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Surely I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Behold, those who are angered with you will be shamed and dishonored. What a promise. Those who contend with you will be as nothing, and will perish. I'll say that one again. Those who contend with you will be as nothing and will perish. You will seek those who quarrel with you, will not find them. Those who war against you will be as nothing and non-existence. For I am the Lord your God, who upholds your right hand, who says to you, I just love that, who says to you, fear not, for I will help you. It's like, there's the promise thousands of years ago. Put that,
That's
if
right.
you're fearful, put that in your spirit man and your spirit woman. Walk in it. Make it so it's who you are. Look, I'm not a genius. I can't memorize. I'm not an actor who can memorize pages. It took me like 2 weeks to memorize those 3 verses, but I got it.
I'm not good at it either.
It's in my heart. I say it every night now. Sometimes I say it during the day. That's how we're to walk.
Yeah. Yeah. If the Lord be for us, who could be against
Amen.
us, man? That's it. Period. End of story. And all this stuff is just a dog and pony show for the enemy. He's just playing us. He's just trying to do all these things and to try to throw us off. But yeah, there's a great sickness that's occurring, and has occurred for quite a long time. And I want to be optimistic, but when I read the pages of Scripture and I see where we are, man, it's hard. Yeah, unfortunately,
all you got to
brother.
do. Are we better now than we were 25 years ago? And the answer is absolutely.
And we weren't. And you can keep running that backwards for quite a long time.
It's over. So we're in a window. Yeah. It's an unprecedented window of time. It's unlike any other part of history. We are rapidly closing in on the 7-year tribulation. We're not there yet, but we've got wars and rumors of war, famines, earthquakes in diverse places, and troublesome times. We are here. The end times checklist, and Israel, which is the prophetic time clock, is back in the land. I want to make something real clear. I don't give Israel a blank check. They're as corrupt and as devious and evil as any other country on the planet. Who knows what's really going on over there? But they are still God's chosen people, and they will look on him, Amen, whom they have pierced, and mourn for him as an only son. They will do that. They will do that. And by the way, Jesus returns where? To Jerusalem. And of course, most of the church is amillennial. So they don't believe in a 1,000-year reign of Jesus on earth. Most of the church is amillennial. Yep. The Catholics don't. Protestants don't.
Yeah.
Not all the Protestants, but the Presbyterians don't. And many of the other Protestant denominations are amillennial. All the churches around where I live in the Santa Monica, they're all amillennial.
Even with that, like we just walk through all those different denominations. That's just a fracturing of the family. It's fractured us into a million different pieces to weaken us. It's so sad. But brother, I know you had, you were short on time tonight, so I don't want to hold you up anymore. So just thank you so much for your heart, and thank you for your time. And if I could ask you, would you mind closing us out in prayer? I think it's called for based on our conversation.
Father, we come before you and we just thank you for Jesus. We know that he is the answer.
Amen.
I pray, Father, that his white horse is getting ready. I know it's not yet, but it's got to be somewhat soon. And I pray, Father, that because I know you can't fix this anymore. I mean, you can fix it, but we can't. It's the time of the dragon, and I think his time is close, and all hell's going to break loose. Remember your people as we look up to you, as we are expectant. Give us boldness, give us wisdom, help us to walk circumspectly, protect us, protect our families, our loved ones, Lord. Lord, the days are so dark and so evil, and yet we're called to be a light on a hill. Help us to do that. And I know that Kyle's heart is that way, and I think we've touched on that tonight. And we just thank you, Lord, that you're a shield about us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, brother. Well, again, guys, you can find out everything you need to know. You can find out much more over at LA's site, lamarzulli.net. And for us too, you know, I appreciate all you guys' support. It really does mean the world. Please do like, subscribe, follow, share. And if you're listening to this, then, you know, do what you need to do to help me out there. But the other thing too, guys, one of the things that I've been harping on, you're going to hear me keep doing it, is please, please head over to my website, thewordatwarmedia.com, and click on school. I just started a school community. It's unlike anything you've experienced before. It's true, non-algorithmically controlled community. We have already had in just 1 week's time more interaction with one another. We had a wonderful prayer and share call this morning that you could literally feel the Holy Spirit moving. It was wonderful. And we need that now more than ever. So please, please join that community. You will not regret it. Even if you never listen to another show, just please join that community. We really need to be brothers and sisters and unified together. And it's a fantastic place for new believers as well. I'm going to provide some good resources over there. Unlike the church that basically just leaves them to fend for themselves. So, LA, thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you praying us out in your time. All right, with that, I'll bid you adieu until next time on The Word of War, guys. Take care.